Welcome back to Inside Games, the only gaming news show brave enough to suggest that maybe Phil Spencer hasn't made all the right calls in his tenure as the lead of Xbox.
Did we get to claim bravery on that one if Phil admitted to it himself?
This is gaming media, Lawrence. Any negativity towards gaming executives is brave.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, those execs hate him so much. Well, I guess Phil gets a giant shiny medal for this one then. In one of his first major interviews since a lot of bad press, multiple rounds of layoffs and shuttering a couple of beloved studios like Arcane Austin and Tango Gameworks, Spencer admitted to some less than optimal decision making over the years.
In equally shocking news, PlayStation's launching a game that basically everybody loves for a change. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Yeah, boy, just punching up out of the grave on the exact day the Concord's shutting down. We got some more PlayStation news too. We got more hints that a PlayStation 5 Pro is pretty much right around the corner. And a handful of studios have been fully greenlit to keep producing through the video game actor strike that we covered a few weeks back.
Yeah, this week's Inside Games Roundup is a little spicy, a little sweet. So let's throw it to the king of flavor to kick off our first story. Brian Gaar, tell us about Phil Spencer's legacy of regret.
I want to beatbox after that intro, but I cannot. So yes, let's just get to the news. Phil Spencer wants you to know he is just like us. He has made mistakes too. Yes, the Xbox boss said he's made some of the worst decisions that involve passing on some pretty big gaming franchises, including Destiny and Guitar Hero back in the day. This happened at an interview at PAX West last weekend where Spencer admitted that Destiny, quote, really didn't click for him at first. Basically, he didn't get into it until its first expansion, House of Wolves.
Can't argue with that. I kind of agree. Destiny 1 was a little rough.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Phil added that, quote, there's so many mixed emotions and stories for me around Destiny. That's also true of pretty much everybody.
Destiny eventually was published by Activision, same with Guitar Hero, which Spencer said he thought at the time wasn't going to work. And I think a lot of people thought that too about Guitar Hero.
Yeah, he kind of described it like somebody was like, okay, it's a plastic guitar. They play along with the song. And he was like, yeah, I don't think so. Sort of, you get it a little bit. The direct quote was, he said, I've passed on some of the worst, made some of the worst game choice decisions. And obviously CEOs passing up on hits, not a new thing. There was the famous record executive who passed on the Beatles. I mean, this is part of being a CEO. Honestly, credit to Phil for his candor. He added that he's not a regrets type person and that he tries to, quote, look forward and be positive about the things that we're doing.
Yeah, it's one of the things I appreciate about Phil specifically is when he does do interviews, he's usually very personable and direct about the things he's allowed to be direct about. He has to do a little bit of dancing sometimes, but that's just the nature of the job. And while we're glazing up the man, Phil did get some flowers recently after some devs publicly thanked him for cutting through some troubling bureaucracy at Microsoft.
Oh yeah, the developers of the Souls-like Inotria had complained that they were being ignored by Microsoft for 2 months, which led to a delay getting their game on Xbox consoles.
Yeah, but Phil stepped in personally and it made a big difference, as you might imagine. The devs thanked him in a tweet, said they're now working closely with Microsoft, and we hope this collaboration will lead to the game's release for Xbox as soon as possible.
Still, not great news for the Xbox console platform. The Xbox Series X and S are yet again lagging behind their PlayStation rival in sales, and Microsoft has kind of given up the ghost. They're now releasing first-party games like Indiana Jones and The Great Circle for PlayStation 5.
This is leading fans to worry if Microsoft's support for its own console is cooling off, which it seems to be. It also didn't help that the recent hit Black Myth Wukong completely skipped Xbox. Crazy. And recently, there were reports that Capcom was also passing over the console with its upcoming Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics and Capcom Fighting Collection 2 games. Capcom, though, later confirmed the 2 games will be coming to Xbox. All right, whoa, hold on, don't worry, it'll be coming to Xbox.
It's not our first or second priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that some of these developers are starting to go very public and very loud with their concerns and issues with the Xbox ecosystem. It makes me think that there might be some intense shuffling of priorities on the back end, because the Inotria developers specifically said that their emails had just gone unanswered for months. And because of that, they couldn't really obligate to hitting their delivery deadlines anymore. So I really hope that all the people, the account managers that used to do all that interfacing, I hope that they're still there and doing their jobs, because it sounds like some inboxes are just going derelict. And when those are your third-party partners, that's kind of concerning. So to me, it's happened too often. I know I hand-waved it away about Sun Wukong, but This is starting to become a trend of third-party publishers saying, like, we're not getting the necessary feedback from Xbox to even ship on that platform. So I don't know what's going on over there, man. And it's not a good look when your, business partners are now having to complain publicly. It's just like hollering for the manager, Things ought to work more smoothly than that.
I feel like we've all been around long enough to kind of see this in the past sometimes happen. And it's a troubling sign. I will definitely say that, because if they're having that problem, probably a lot of other developers are too. And, the second third-party support goes away for your console. I mean, look at the Wii U most recently. I mean, it's kind of done. So I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's there yet. But then when your own company is putting your exclusives on other consoles, it's troubling.
Yeah, you guys are right. We're reading the tea leaves here. Like, I want to say 6 months to a year ago, we were doing the whole clickbait thing with like Xbox is going to become only a publisher and a software developer. They're not going to do consoles. But the more that this happens, the more I'm like, boy, oh boy, they might go the way of Sega. This is not looking good for them. Unlike Xbox, nearly everyone loves Astrobot.
Yeah, Sony, a nice bounce back from the Concord fiasco. The new Astrobot is out. The PlayStation 5, they have a hit exclusive. This is what they needed. Here it is.
Yeah, something with a little joy, a little happiness. It's not just dads in the corner brooding about their losses. The platformer is currently sitting at a 94 on Metacritic, which is the highest score for a standalone game so far this year. Only Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, has ranked better.
Man, IGN's reviewer said the game is, quote, a collection of endlessly inventive levels and fantastically fun abilities, adding that it delivers joy in spades, never once becoming even remotely dull or repetitive.
Yeah, and a lot of reviewers also said that the game establishes Astro as a much-needed iconic mascot for PlayStation. No offense to Sackboy or Jack or Crash Bandicoot or Ratchet and Clank or whoever. Well, they weren't. But yeah, and people were kind of drawing comparisons to Mario 64. So, maybe this is that kind of breakthrough, cutesy, appeals to kid mascot that, frankly, I mean, it's good for them.
Polygon said that the game finally gives PlayStation a Nintendo tier platformer after 30 years, writing, Astrobot, a dazzling, joyful game, is a celebration of all the failed attempts and quizzical detours Sony made on that quest.
GameSpot said that Astro is also a nice counterbalance to the typical PlayStation lineup of sad dads, and boy, am I tired of that. I am tired of the sad dads.
Yeah, they wrote, not only does it feel like a revitalization of an important part of the brand, but it also feels like a spotlight shifting to a character who has been lurking in the background, previously unable to see over the hulking Kratos, the war-ready Aloy, or the tortured Joel.
I wonder how much of Astrobot is enjoyable if you don't really have an emotional attachment to PlayStation's broken legacy of leading characters, because I don't. I have struggled for decades to find, like, a charming soul inside of PlayStation. It used to be Team Japan, Parappa, like those were the things that I sort of associated with PlayStation, and then the brand killed them all. So to me, there's not a lot to celebrate here. It's mostly just kind of celebrating PlayStation's legacy of killing their brands. And I don't know, maybe Astrobot will be a little bittersweet for me. I don't know if there's like references to Wipeout or Studio Liverpool or like all of the cutesy games they used to make, but I guess the thing is, for me, I know a lot of people in gaming media have a very strong association with PlayStation and Sony brands, so it's not surprising to me that something that's all about that got so celebrated, but I haven't played it myself. I'm just a little concerned. I'm a little curious.
Yeah, I wonder, I'm kind of the same, but I mean, it came out like I was in college, so like, I wonder if somebody in their 20s, though, may feel differently, but yeah, it does kind of feel like a celebration of one-hit wonders.
I don't really have any attachment to Sony characters at all. So I'm looking forward to playing Astrobot to see if it truly is a 94. I mean, it sounds like a great game, but I won't be like, oh my gosh, look, it's the car from Wipeout. Like, I don't care at all. Like,
it's Blasto.
It doesn't matter to me at all. Speaking of more PlayStation news, did Sony accidentally confirm the PlayStation 5 Pro?
Yeah, they've been celebrating the 30th anniversary of the PlayStation, but it kind of seems like they may have given away the PS5 Pro's existence. So this comes from a blog post this week that had a graphic showing a variety of PlayStation consoles and controllers. In the graphic, some people spotted what definitely looked like a PS5 Pro design that looked like very similar to the PS5 Pro leak that we saw a week ago.
Yeah, it's got the stripes. I don't know if this is an accident so much as a tease, but yeah. You'll remember we covered this last week. Deal Labs reported that it had seen retail packaging for the PS5 Pro. They even did a little sketch showing 3 black stripes in the middle of the console for increased speed and aerodynamics. Yeah. And those 3 stripes showed up in the 30th anniversary graphic. Coincidence?
No, probably not. Interestingly, the official PlayStation account on Instagram even posted the image with a link titled "Your First Look," and then the little eyes, the big eye. I like the big eyes. So maybe this is intentional.
Yeah, and we might know really soon. Deal Labs had said previously they're expecting an announcement about the PS5 Pro first half of this month, so this should be close.
Everybody get your $700 ready.
To play what? To play Astrobot?
Astrobot!
Okay, to play Last of Us again?
Pretty much.
It's weird timing, but it lands when it lands. I don't know. I did see something interesting, though. Daniel Ahmad posted that only, I guess, 15% of PlayStation 4 owners actually bought a PlayStation 4 Pro, or that was about the sales ratio. So apparently Pro consoles don't hit mass market like I was kind of expecting it to. I thought anything PlayStation branded would just fly off the shelf. So I'm really curious to see how this will perform and what it'll do. I don't know. I can't. I guess 4K at 60 FPS maybe. Better up-resing.
In other good news, I guess, sort of like the PS5 Pro, game performers have reached an AI deal with 80 games.
Yeah, it's weird to say they negotiated with the game directly, like they shake hands with a little DVD-ROM or something. But yeah, they've reached agreements with 80 games, individual games, which means they can now work on those projects, so that's good. The Associated Press reports that interim budget agreements were signed with the Performers Union, and those agreements accepted the AI protections that the performers have been wanting, and that's kind of the big issue.
Yeah, of course. That was the central tenet of the work stoppage that began in July after negotiations between SAG-AFTRA and the games industry giants broke down over AI protections. The union is, I think, very appropriately worried that game voice actors and motion capture artists' likenesses could be replicated by AI and used without their consent or fair compensation.
But while agreements were reached regarding 80 individual games, the strike against major video game publishers, including Disney, Warner Brothers, and EA, will continue until they've figured out those negotiations as well.
Yeah, don't steal people's likenesses. I think that's
Yeah, pretty fucking simple.
All right, let's do a 5-second review. Astrobot. I am not joking. I ordered a PS5 this week.
What? Wow.
Because of the reviews. It sold it. It sold me on the PS5. I feel like kids will like it. It'll be great.
$500 game. That's a powerful review.
And Final Fantasy 16, which I heard is not that great, but still, I'll play it.
All right, let's talk about the games that are coming out this week. Up first, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, brother. Embody the superhuman skill and brutality of a Space Marine. Unleash deadly abilities and devastating weaponry to obliterate the relentless Tyrannid swarms. Defend the Imperium in spectacular third-person action in solo or multiplayer modes. It comes to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X September 9th.
Yars Rising. Oh, I loved this game. From the renowned development studio Way Forward Technology comes Yars Rising, a 2D action-adventure exploration of one of Atari's richest and best-known classics. Take control of the young hacker Emi Kimura, who is hired by a mysterious patron to infiltrate the shadowy QO Tech Corporation. Run, jump, sneak, and hack your way through challenges as you slowly unravel a complex secret shrouded in intrigue. Comes to PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X September 10th.
Did you play Yars Revenge back in the day, Brian?
That's what I'm thinking. Yes, Yars Revenge.
How did anyone understand how to play that game? Good God.
They didn't have the internet back then to tell you.
Next up, we got Caravan Sandwich. Embark on a journey across vast landscapes in Caravan Sandwich. Captivating narrative-driven exploration adventure. Interact with the communities on Sigalo, help them with their tasks, and meet new people along the way. Take your time to explore the world, whether in your van or on foot. Life is simple. No combat, no death, no timer, just you, your van, and the world. Caravan Sandwich comes to PS5, PC, and Switch on September 12th.
Up next, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Test Drive is a lifestyle and social experience that redefines what an open-world racing game can be. Explore a fully recreated Hong Kong island, take to the road behind the wheel of exceptional cars, and live the ultimate life of luxury. Comes to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X September 12th.
Next up, Wild Bastards, the spiritual successor to Void Bastards. Wild Bastards is a roguelike strategy shooter where you play as a kid whose parents weren't married. Just kidding. It's got heart-pounding FPS action, mod management, and a tactical campaign. Saddle up and lead the most notorious outlaws in the galaxy. Comes to PC, PS5, Switch, and the Xbox Series X September 12th.
I'm excited for that one. Void Bastards was great. Demon School is a new style tactics RPG where motion equals action. Defeat big weirdos. And that's a great phrase. Defeat big weirdos in between the human and demon worlds as Faye and her misfit companions while navigating university life on a mysterious island. Demon School comes to PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X on September 13th.
And last but not least, Funko Fusion. Experience a festival of fandom like never before in Funko Fusion. Play through iconic worlds and mash up characters inspired by some of your favorite franchises in an action-adventure game with uniquely authentic, irreverent humor from the creative minds of 1010 Games. Comes to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X September 13th.
And speaking of festival of fandom, I gotta plug in my PS5 and charge the controller and patch everything. That's gonna take a minute.
For Astrobot?
Gathering dust over there. Yeah, for Astrobot.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Phil Spencer's just kind of sipping his coffee in the rain over in Seattle. Poor guy. Yeah. Unlike Phil Spencer, though, we have some patrons that have never regretted a single decision they've ever made, including supporting this show. We're very grateful for that. Thank you very much, Evan S. Compton, Jonathan Lanowski, Nick Calderon, and Spirit Bear.
And unfortunately, these patrons that have supported the Inside Games Patreon, they regret pretty much everything, but they're too proud to admit it, and I understand that. Regulus, Scotty Ryan, Dylan Hiley, and Tito 007, keep holding on.
To admit failure is to admit defeat.